Well, hello everyone, TheOntarioGardener here, back with another episode of Factorio Space Age. There's a slight update between, last video and this one. These icons have gotten an upgrade. I don't know what else. I didn't really check. I just know logging in today. Like, I played this yesterday, like just on my own time, and these icons were like the normal ones. This is what's changed. See how they're like they're more defined. These actually kind of have things like they're just a bit more defined. Red wire, green wire. Yeah, and some people say, you know, what's the difference between these two? Nothing. It's just if you want to have two different connections to something, or monitoring different things, or I'm trying to think how to explain it, you use two different colors. And this is just to make a copper wire if you need it. And this is your rate calculator, and this is your planner, which I don't really use for this. Max rate calculators, when you kind of have this and you hover over something and it tells you what your max rate is being produced by what you have there. Now granted, you can go here and you go 0.62 times 5, that's 0.31. All right, and if we go here, what does it say we are at? 0.3125, slightly more accurate because this only goes out 2 decimal places. Doesn't matter. So we're back on Gleba. Now, I did a lot of changing since last episode. I have a bit of a... Let's turn this off for now. I have a bit of a concrete and brick or brick setup here. Stone slab, whatever you want to call them, setup here. And that's great. I just started putting down some of these. These are agriculture towers. I'll explain kind of how they work. Is this one actually running right now? No, it's not, because everything's spoiled, which is fine. I don't want this to run. Remember we had like some of this, we had some solar stuff. Well, I brought in some nuclear, and you may say, oh, it's way overkill. Yeah, this whole thing is way overkill for what we need, but I have a circuit condition set up here that basically this is only going to be feeding the machine when it dips below 500 trees. Just one of them, just this one. And this goes very slowly, especially because we're not using the power. It goes down really slowly, and we have 41 here, and I think I even have a bunch. I can't view it because we're in map view, remote view. So like this is way overkill. We don't need this stuff for anything else, so it's fine. Right now we're I'm kind of click on here. Like right now we're using virtually no power, but we could have up to 500 megawatts. But this is for now. This is perfectly fine. I'm not going to dink around with any of this. Once you start getting sulfuric acid going and whatnot here, I believe we can make that here. Let's see. Let's go to, I want to go to here. Where is it? Where are you? This is this. Sulfur, you can make biosulfur, and then from sulfur processing, you can use that to make sulfuric acid. And then sulfuric acid can be used to make steam. You got to bring in calcite, I guess. So we probably won't be doing that here. In any case, it doesn't really matter. We have plenty with our uranium, and if we need more uranium fuel cells, we could just bring in 1,000, and then that would last us for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. Because this is like it dropped. I don't even think it dropped at all since we started. Nonetheless, so I have the whole area cleared out here. Again, we're not playing with quote unquote biters. The eggs are still like the where are they? Here, the egg raft. This is where they would be spawning from. I've destroyed some of them because you need that to make biochambers, but as you can see, we have a lot of area. And what we're going to be focusing on today is a number of things. One is we got to get some production going. We're not producing anything since I kind of not redid this, but got rid of our little starter area here. What we're looking for mainly is these white areas inside these like kind of lime green areas, which there's tons everywhere, and then also the white inside of this purple area, which we don't have a radar over that way. It'd be in this type of area here. And because we need to get jelly nut, and we need to get the Texas stuff called the Yumako, and we got to get the jelly nut. And both of those things together, they get Yumako seeds, which we do Yumako mash, which we will need eventually. We have to turn things into bioflux. Bioflux makes jelly and mash. So when you process each of these down, you get mash and you get jelly, and then you use that to make bioflux. And once you get bioflux, you use bioflux to make biosulfur, plastic with mash, of course. This is with spoilage. Spoilage is everywhere. This you can make lubricant here with jelly, just jelly to lubricant. Pretty simple. And here you can make rocket fuel. Because if you remember, in order to get off this planet, you need to have rocket fuel, you need to have blue circuits, and you need to have LDS. And LDS, you're like, well, how do you make that with this? Well, you need basically what? Steel you can make here by having your spoilage, your iron bacteria. Also, you can then reprocess it by using bioflux, and one iron bacteria gives you 4 iron bacteria. When that then decays, in a sense, you can actually get it this way somewhat too from jelly. You get iron ore, and then you use iron ore to turn that into steel, and you use to get plastic. You may say, well, how the heck do we get plastic? Well, you get bioplastic from mash and bioflux. So everything's bioflux here, and then the next one is going to be copper plate, and you get that the same way as you get the iron bacteria. You get it from the copper bacteria, which then these things spoil in 1 minute, and they turn into copper ore. But again, you also can create copper bacteria, 10% chance by smelting or whatever you want to call it, using up Yakimo mash. Yumako will be Yumako. I got to remember Yumako. And then usually things like of tobacco. Remember tobacco from The Simpsons, where they had a tomato farm and they mixed it with tobacco seeds? Is it tobacco? Anyway, people are addicted to it. So point being is everything here is bioflux. So our rocket fuel, bioflux, to make green or blue circuits, we need sulfuric acid, which we can make. Lubricants for making other things, of course. And then we need plastics, and we have copper. That will give us all of this. And then we can make green circuits here because we can use those 2 things. We make red circuits because we can use plastic. We also have copper cable, and then we use those 2 things to make blue circuits. So you need blue circuits, this, and rocket fuel. So you can make everything you need, but everything is made from bioflux, including science. Now, science is the tricky one because, well, not really. You have a 1-hour spoil time. So however you're whatever ship you're using to transport this back and forth, you have to be doing it at a rate where it's being consumed right away. Or you basically have a rig set up to where things that go into spoilage, then they just get turned into nutrients or whatever. Now, you do see here that you have bioflux, and you also have pentapod eggs. And pentapod eggs are a weird one in a sense. Now, they won't spoil into anything here because you don't have the biters turned on, but they would spoil into these crab things. These pentapod wrigglers. So you got to defend all that. That's a big pain that we're not doing, of course. And then anyway, you use water, which is abundant here. And we have nutrients, which again, you get nutrients from spoilage and from, various. You get nutrients from Yumako, and you get the best nutrients are from bioflux. That's a 5 to 40. So that's a 1 to 8. This here is a 4 to 6 ratio. So everything bioflux. But remember, everything here spoils. Everything. The only thing that doesn't spoil, well, I guess when these spoil, they turn into ore. Any made products, so anything you make here, the fuel, the lubricant, the plastic, sulfur, not the bioflux, and then the carbon, that all, they don't spoil because they're like finished products in a sense, but everything else spoils, so you always have spoilage. That's the big freaking deal. I can't obviously make any of those. I can't process any of these. So what we're going to be working on today is we're going to be setting up this stuff. Now, what is that? Even distribution settings? Hey, look at that. That's cool. I didn't know there was even settings like that. More you know. So I do have a bit of a rig set up here, mainly to make green circuits, which we're only making a few hundred. We have a couple hundred here, 200 of them. This is just using up these things. I don't have any in here. These things, basically. And these will spoil in your pocket, or they'll spoil anywhere. And that's what, as you see here, these are the ones that spoiled. You do this, it turns into spoilage, etc., etc. So this is set up just as a bit of a byproduct type thing. We'll be using this if we get more of this stuff. And you have to hunt for this. You don't just get it from something. Like you have to... let's see, if you click on this, you click on that, and you basically get it this way. You get it from this, or you get it from mining it or gathering it in a sense. So, enough about that. What we want to do is I have a open plane here. I haven't done much. You have to use pentapod eggs This feels a bit out of place. You have to use pentapod eggs to make biochambers, and the problem with that is that pentapod eggs, everything like spoils very quickly, and nutrients spoil in like how many seconds? Nutrients spoil in what, 5 minutes? Like it's crazy. So down here, this one down here, I have these belts now. Some might use bots, but I don't have a lot of bots for this. I can turn my network back on, and it looks like I'm missing one here, because this is where the seeds would return to. Oh yeah, I must be missing one here for some odd reason, unless it's just never hooked up, which probably is the case, which is fine because the bots will fill that up. I think I might have a couple in my. Well, it doesn't matter, but anyway, down here is where we're going to start making. These are the Yumako trees, and they make the Yumako fruit. The way that these things work is they only will produce seeds or plant seeds on green tiles. So you see here we have a decent bit of green tiles, and then you can get more green tiles by actually making Yumako soil and making jelly nut soil. It just takes nutrient and seeds. That's all it does. So we have a decent supply here. Again, I have no idea how much we're going to need. I actually have 2 of them. This one's really great because I put some in here artificial, which is awesome. And we have it belted. It's a far, but it's going to be better to belt it than to not belt it. And then over here, we have the jelly nut, which we can't see. So let's run over to it. I only have one thing, 'cause I don't know how much I'm going to be using. This is the problem with all this. I have no idea. Now, granted, the jelly nut and the Yumako fruits have a 1-hour timer. So I obviously have seeds in here to input already. This is a pretty good one. I'm not really sure what the deal with this is. I don't know. That was kind of weird. So all these things, these are the Yumako or the jelly stem, and these will get your jelly fruit. I guess it's called jelly fruit, jelly nut, and that'll belt it in. And I opted for bringing in a whole bunch of green belts for this instead of using red belts, which I was usually gonna do. Now, the good thing with jelly nut and Yumako is they want a 1-hour spoil time. So we're going to be producing it here. Eventually, we're going to have spoilage on these belts, but it's all fine. So I think what I want to do is I want to start right here. And again, this is not my design. I only have a certain amount of biochambers until we get to a point to where we can make more easily. And we have to propagate the pentapod eggs. But the eggs aren't used for anything that we're going to be doing right now, which is going to be doing this, and then getting bioflux. You don't need the eggs. The eggs are just for making science and other things. So again, this is not my design. This is I watch Nilos a lot, and there's some of you like him, some of you don't, and that's perfectly fine as well. So this is somewhat of his design. And oh yeah, speaking of design, I got to get down here and get this thing in here. I do have I do have construction bots, but I don't have any. I don't think I have any in the network, do I? I do. I wonder why they didn't place that. That's weird. Oh, because we don't have any. Because we don't have any RoboPorts. Can we make a RoboPort? I don't think so. And my plan, as we're going forward here, is eventually I want to get into doing. I want to get into doing quality stuff and like getting that, but I think first we've got to get a system set up. So what we're going to do is we're going to go. I mean, I could use this. I could move this. This is far. This is making a stone brick, by the way. So I think what we'll do is let's just make it here. And like I said, this is I don't have all the modules for this either, so we have to kind of bear with me that way. I don't have all the modules either. And this is like this, and this is like this. And then, do I have any? I do have some of this. So that's at least fine because that doesn't reduce anything that's bad. This is going to be making. This is going to be processing the Yumako processing because that's what we have on this side. And this is going to be the same as basically the jelly nut processing, by the way. So just keep that in mind as well. All right. So we have the nutrients is the only thing I don't really have set up yet. This is going to come in here, and this is going to go out a little bit like this. And then here we want to bring in, how do we have this set up? He has it set up like this, and like this, and then like this, and then like that. These are going to be bringing in the Yakumo fruit themselves, right? And then this is going to be, and we also have to get an output on this, because the output's going to be the Yakumo, or it's going to be the mash, right? The mash is what's going to be outputting. And that's going to be kind of outputting something just like this. And then what we want to do is we want to have the outputting is going to be here, and we'll deal with this in a bit here. And then for this one, you just go like this and you go like that. That way now we have it on both sides of the belt, which is a good thing. And then here we want to dump off, because remember, we have everything has spoilage. That's the main thing here. Everything has spoilage. So you're basically off of this, you're going to get either seeds or you're going to get mash. Okay? So the mash we want the mash. Actually, how do you have it set up here? Let me just look a little bit down the line here, a little bit here. So the mash is going to come in, and then the mash gets exported in the seeds. So the mash is okay. The mash just goes into right. Okay, yeah. So because you're going to get spoilage eventually, because if anything spoils in here, then it goes up, which is also not a big deal. And he always uses storage chests. I like using provider chests personally. I just I don't know, like it better, I guess. That's gonna go here. These actually have to go. How are we doing this? This has to go. This has to go up one. This has to go up one. So these are gonna be. Excuse me. The seeds are gonna be in this one, and we don't actually have to use. We could use all these. It doesn't really matter, I guess. I have a lot of both. So this one here, we're going to be outputting to the left, and the filter is going to be, excuse me, we're going to have the Yumako seeds. And they're going to get dumped into here, and these are just going to go off to wherever. So what we're going to do is we want to actually copy this, and we want to vertically split that, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, there's that, this is this. So we're basically doing the same on both sides. And then here, what we want to do here is we want to bring this down, and we want to put a splitter onto this. And then we can, if we want to process this out further, we can do it. We can do it like that, which is perfectly fine, by the way. It'll work just fine. And yeah, everything here is good. Like this, and you say, okay, well then, how do you deal with spoilage here? Well, we don't. Or actually, I should say, no, we do. We do it like this. I actually have to move. I think I have to move all this down one as well, because I gotta be able to put a belt up around the top. Yeah. So what we're gonna do now is let's just put this belt piece in. Let's see, we can go over a couple more. I'm going to probably come back a little bit here, and then we're going to dump it in about here, and then these are going to go all the way across, and we're going to go like this. And the thing is, with all these things, I'm not going to turn them on until they're all built, because I think they're just going to end up having massive amount of this stuff just being spoiled. I don't know. Here, what we can do is we don't need, and you can save belt, by the way, by using these to the fullest extent. You can save, because these will go regardless of the distance. All right, if you go like this and you go all the way down, you're still 49, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. So you might as well use the whole length of it if you can. Then you can save yourself some of the regular transport belts. So that's a good way to look at it. So then here we're gonna have this and this, this and this, and then so what we're gonna do in here is, I think how we want to set it up is gonna be. Let me just try to think for a minute here. I think we have to do a spoilage somehow with this, and I'm trying to think what would be the best way. A little bit different than how he did it. I'm not really sure how I want to do it yet, but regardless, it'll work. And then yeah, it'll work like this, and then we can get spoilage off of these belts as well, which we obviously have to do, which is fine. By the way, which is perfectly fine with all of this. Okay, and then we have that's good. This is good here. And then we have to deal with, well, two things: nutrients. We have to get nutrients in. Now, I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do nutrients yet, but for now, I can just do nutrients this way. And we got to be a little careful here about nutrients, and we have to basically monitor everything for nutrient coming in, because if not, you're going to have a bad time. And you don't want to have a bad time because you're going to end up, having a big old mess here. And we don't want to have a big old mess. We don't want to have we don't want to have a mess at all, basically. So the way we got to do that is we have to put, let's see, we do two things. We have to do two things. So might as well just do one now and then one now and then do one later. And then this one here. So this is going to be bringing in your nutrients, by the way. The nutrients are going to be here, and then nutrients are going to be brought in here and in here. Same thing here. And then this is just a good kind of trick. I've never really done belts and stuff like this. I've never really thought of doing it like that. It's kind of cool, by the way. I think it's kind of cool. Now you say in here, the thing is in here, we're not going to have, like, stuff in the machine isn't going to spoil. So, like, that's a good thing. By the time this stuff comes out and goes into here, it won't spoil either. And the only thing that's going to be bringing in here is going to be the mash anyway. And we can just let that. We don't really want to let it pile up, I guess, too much. We don't want to let it pile up too much. And then also going to do this to this. And then we can just do this to this. Because we have to deal with spoilage. And spoilage is kind of... spoilage is a funny word. Like spoilage. Yeah, spoilage is right. So this is fine, and what we want to do, nutrients here are going to be, nutrients, this is not the nutrient belt. No, this is not it. Sorry. That's not where we want to bring nutrients in. Nutrients have to come in. The nutrients are going to have to come in. Where are we going to put them, I guess? Not really sure how we're going to do that. But in any case, let's see. We have this is set up. Just trying to make sure I have everything set up properly here. I think this looks good. We still have to bring nutrients in, and we want nutrients to be on the belt. And this is going to be set up only for spoilage, which is under here, and that's fine. And then spoilage down here, these are going to be for the seeds, which is fine. And then other spoilage, we don't have any spoilage anywhere else, which I think is actually working quite fine for now. And yeah, we have this is going to be your nutrients being brought in. Eventually we'll have spoilage on this belt, which is fine because it'll split it anyway. And then what we can do is we can grab, we can just grab, I'm trying to think how you want to do this. We can grab spoilage from, let's try to think. We want to have this come in. We're going to have the stuff is going to be dumped out on this belt. This is going to go forward. We can have one of these. Yeah, one of these can be picking up the, where's the mash? The mash, right? This is going to here and here. And this one is going to grab the spoilage because eventually there'll be spoilage somewhere along this system somewhere. It's just kind of how it works. And this is more, it's a lot of it's like more of a just in case than anything. But it's, I think it's fine. And what we could also do eventually is off of here is we want to actually no, I want to do this. Spoilage is going to go from here to here to here to here to here to here, right? And what we can do is we can put active providers here. We can just do passive. Passive is fine. It doesn't really matter. And then what we'll do here is this is going to continue out. This will be the mash, and this should be plenty because these are pulling in 12 items at a time, 24 items. We're not going to have that much of a throughput. If we have an issue here, then what we can do is just we can change how, because otherwise we want the mash to go straight through because it's going to go right into the other things. And then the only thing we have to bring in now is going to be the nutrients. So we have spoilage dealt with, not quite yet. What do we have here? That's going to be for the seeds. Here we want to have some of this. We can pull the spoilage right from this to this. I think that's fine. Yeah, I think that's okay. And then with spoilage as well, is eventually we're going to have it all going to a central system where we're going to process it into nutrients. Then eventually, I almost want to have a little bit of a bus system here. Eventually. Maybe just running, I don't know how we're going to do it. These could obviously face upwards too. But all I know is jelly nut, or the Yakumo seeds are going to be coming in. I keep saying Yakumo. The Yumako seeds are always going to be coming in from this side because we have a huge area here that we can propagate probably 3 or 4 machines if we want. And then these down here, these are all like, that's a huge one. They're all going to come up eventually. And remember, they have an hour on the belt before they go bad, just as the jelly have an hour before they go bad. So this is basically the setup that we have here. I don't really want to start bringing any in until we get the other one set up, and then we can turn it on. But I don't want to. Well, you know what we can do. Okay, you know what? Let's just do. Hold on, let's get out of this. Let's just to make sure it works. Let's just do this. Now we don't have any nutrients though, so we have to make some. Nutrients. So if we go this and we go this and we do Yakumo, and let's just do that. Not that there's any there. Let's just go grab some real quick. We can grab some of the Yakumo, and so they're always going to be down in this kind of greenish area. These here, you can see them. These Yakumo trees, and then are these some here, and these are not. They're going to be here. Like here's some. Let's just see what happens when we get back. Now, the bots are probably going to start coming for this stuff. Yeah, here they come already. Now, can we make any nutrients? I kind of want to just dump some nutrients on the belt as well. Let's dump all these out, and let's just dump this. Anyway, you see kind of how it's going to work. And we have the mash coming out, which we have to deal with the mash at some point. Because remember, the mash, here's the thing, the mash only has, what, 3 minutes. Okay. And the reason why these are here is because when this stuff inevitably spoils, you want to deal with that. And then here we can just dump a bunch of this in here. Just to show you that it does work. And then eventually we'll have nutrients flowing on this belt. And I'm trying to think how I want to bring that in. I'm not really sure yet. Probably by bot for now. And I'm just going to... I think this is probably fine for now. Until we get a better supply of this, I think this is probably fine. But you basically can see how the gist of it here. This stuff is going to spoil, well, eventually, obviously. And then, which is fine. But this is pretty much set up. I'd say the way we want to have it set up. I think so. I think this is set up pretty well for what we want to do. One thing I can think of would be to have this as this, because we don't want to. No, we have this here. This is doing spoilage, and then we want to eventually have the nutrients coming in. Spoilage is going to go. Well, it'll spoil how? What sides will it spoil on? We want to bring nutrients in from the outside. Not that it doesn't matter though. Why would it matter? Because it'll spoil both ways. Because this is all being dumped. Like nothing. Like the stuff in here will eventually spoil. But that'll dump onto this belt anyway, and then it'll get picked up by these things. So the way you could also do this is you put one of these like this and one like that, and you just have these doing this. Right, and it'll process. It kind of lights up that color. That's why it's, well, plus it's dark. So you can kind of see how it's working. We don't really have, there's some nutrients in that one, but that's about it. I'm not making nutrients from anything else. So that's why it's not kind of working. But as you can see, you can kind of see the gist of how this is working. You end up producing a lot. A lot. Because here, one Yumako gives you 2 mash. So it's a 50. So it's a 1 to 2. And as far as seeds go, we don't have any seeds. This is not right. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. I want to change this. I don't like that. Yeah. But the point being is when you have nutrients coming in, let's just say they're here, you don't want to have too many going at one time. So you want to check that to that, and then you want to check this one to this one. Oh. Huh? Okay. And then that's you have to just click on here. You want to modify. You want to read the whole belt. And then we're still missing a piece down here as well. So we're going to grab this piece, that reach. Oh my god. See, it reaches there. Okay, whatever. Then we want to have it modifying We don't have it monitoring the whole belt. So the way you can set these up is basically you only want to request. You want to set a request that you only want to request nutrients when, say, there's less than, let's just say 20 on the belt. I don't know how many actually we want to do. Let's just say 20 on the belt, because you want to always have some, but you don't want to have too many. So when you have less than 20, it'll request them. And we can actually just dump this in here right now, and we can just let this kind of do its thing. So it's reading well, there's none now, but it would be reading the contents of this. And there you go. And as you see, we have spoilage in here now because these are starting to spoil. So, like, this is just kind of a mock run through of this. Because this is why I'm saying why you don't really want to hook all this stuff up until everything is built. But this is the gist of it. I want to actually probably push this back one square. I know I'd like kind of, you can't have these exactly symmetrical in here, but you can have them, like, you can't have, you know what I mean, just because it's an odd number. So I guess we'll do it like that. That's fine, I guess. And then, yeah, all the spoil, I mean, it doesn't matter where any of that stuff goes, really. So, cool. So, what we're going to do is we're going to copy this. And the thing is, the jelly nuts going to be coming in from over here. But I kind of want to have, well, you know what we could do? I can move this thing, by the way, is why don't we have them coming in here? We could have them coming in over here. Let's just, like, there's nothing here, so I can just move this. I can just put this down here. It's really irrelevant where it is at this point. It does not matter at all. I gotta recopy this. And then, I don't have any modules in here because we're not really creating modules. And here, all I want to do here is flip this horizontally, which I love doing this. And we're probably going to put it, we'll put it in this one here. And now the only thing we're going to really change is we have to change the thing here. This is going to be the jelly nut, of course. And then you want to go in through this one, and you want to have this be jelly seed. Or I guess it's called jelly nut seed, Yumako seed. And that's really all you're going to be changing. We still have to bring the nutrients in. Everything's still being monitored. Now, I think eventually, well, I shouldn't say that, because how many bots? We have 400 Logi bots, which is pretty good. In my opinion. None of these this is just kind of, this is all stuff we brought from with us from Novice that we ended up not using. But we will be using some of this stuff when we start getting into the sulfur and the lubricant. We'll be using pipes for that, so don't worry there. And this is processed exactly the same way. Now again, it's the opposite, which is fine. Well, maybe not. We'll see. I may end up changing this how I have this laid out, because remember the jelly nut and the Yumako have an hour, and they shouldn't be sitting on this belt for an hour. If they are, well, there you go. Now I don't know how to set up. I'm pretty sure by connecting. Let me just see if something like this works. I don't know how this. Let me just see once. If I click on. This is just me doing this now, like as a, maybe I can do it like this. If I do this, connect it to us too far. Oh, right, this is purposely not hooked up. I just want to do that. I don't want this to start running. That's the problem. Yes, we want to hook this up, which will be hooked up right about here, which is fine. So if we go like this, well, not even like that. I don't even have to do that. This is going to start. What is it doing? Oh, it's going to plant the seeds. So okay, here's a demonstration of how this works. So it has seeds in here. It'll go around. It'll plant one seed in each square. Now these squares are 16 4x4 blocks. They grow in a 2x2 maybe. But as you see, it's planting them in the green, and these things have a grow time of 5 minutes, which is not a lot of time. That's short. And they each yield you a jelly nut, which a jelly nut yields you 50. A jelly stem yields you 50. So what I'm curious here is, can you monitor the belt? And I want to hold. I want this. I want to read the contents of the machine. No. I want Oh, maybe that's not going to work. I want if the jelly, where is it at? Here. No, where's the jelly nut? If jelly nut is greater than 100, no, less than 100. Only if jelly nut is less than 100, this will work. I don't know if that's accurate or not. So the way we can test it is we just do this. Oh, what is it doing? Oh, I was standing in the way. So what we could do is just get rid of this. I just want to see what this does. I don't know if you can do logics like this. I don't know. That's holding it. Why is it not reading the belt? No. You don't want that. You want this. So there's less than 100. It'll pick. Okay, that's not obviously long enough then. I just want to see what happens. If it's 100, what does it do? That's genius. That's genius to me. Because that way, you're only going to be sending 100 at a time. Now, granted, this is going to be flowing pretty quickly. But basically, wherever this goes to the input, which will be... Well, it'll go right to here. I like that, honestly. Because now it'll probably start... Can I click on this before it starts activating? There's 102 on the belt. I also have no nutrients, that's why. I'm going to screw myself here a little bit. If I do this, and I do that, now when I get back, is it going to start working again? Yes, look. Oh, I like that a lot. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Yes, because each one is worth 3. Okay, I like this. This is no... I didn't see anybody do this design. Now, is this going to be necessary? I don't know, but I'm trying to think, like, you know, how quickly are we going to go through this stuff? Is basically the way it is. Because but it has 1 hour, a 1 hour spoil time, right? It has a one. Oh, we can't do it that way. A 1 hour spoil time on these things. So if you're not processing within an hour, then something is wrong. But I also like having it like this. Ooh, then what happens if it spoils? Then I think you almost have to break it here. Or, So basically 100 fit here. So what would happen? How would you break this? If you do that, does that break it? It does. Okay, I do like that then. I like that because so... No, but then, that's the thing. I do like, but then what happens if it spoils then? Well, because the problem is it's going to wait. Now, you want to have the whole thing of 100. Because it's like, okay, what happens if what's on here spoils? Ooh, that's a good question. So how would you monitor that then? You know what I mean? I don't know if you can monitor something like that. Because what happens, because if eventually those will turn to spoilage, right? If we stop, like say everything's backed up in full here somehow. Excuse me. These will eventually spoil. Well, no, that's fine then, because then if they spoil after an hour, then at the end of the line here, you basically have, you set it up like this. You do, well, I could just do this. Copy this. You do that, right? And you put this in a, I always like using active providers for these. You do that, right? So basically, when these are on the line, if these spoil while they're sitting here, 100 of them will just go shoot right. Well, however many, well, it'd be 100 because you always have 100 or more. Will shoot right through and they'll go into this. And then you get a fresh 100. And then, so that way you're not having the whole thing. I like this. I like it like this. Excuse me. This is good. I like this. I like this. I think this is going to work for me. I'll do the same thing with the other ones. Just hook them all up to not to the network, but to your logic. I think that works. Yeah. So I may not keep this here, or I may keep it here. I don't know yet. So what we'll do is we'll just, I want to disconnect this power because I don't want this to run. I want to disconnect this right here, and I'll figure out exactly what I want to do with this. Can I make spoilage? I can make jelly. 1 second. Let's make a bunch of jelly, and then we can make... Oh, that's the jelly nut. What can you make? What can I make with in hand with jelly? Nothing, I guess. Well, I can make bioflux eventually then too, I guess. Can you make bioflux in hand? No, you can't. Yeah. So whatever, it doesn't matter. Let's let it. It doesn't matter if it spoils or not. So yeah, this is basically the gist of how this works. These spoil in. What do these normally spoil in? 4 minutes. But every time you add more, it goes up. I guess based on what percentage is there. See how it says that, and then if I take half of this out and take half of this and put this in here, it goes right back up to. I'm not sure how it calculates it. I can just take these out. It's all going to turn to spoilage anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Because again, you have, what did I say, 5 minutes? It's not a lot of time. But again, once this is running, when everything is running at one time, you just let it run and you'll see where you have issues. So that's the gist of this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and make the rest of these. I need to make the one for the, let's go, we can do it, here we go. Make the one jelly nut process to get the jelly, this one to get the Yumako, and then the next one out of both of those is going to get, make bioflux. And then from bioflux, the bioflux, you want to make nutrients from bioflux. Because it's a 1 to 8 ratio. One bioflux gives you 8. Nothing else has that. This is a 4 to 6. This is a 10 to 1. But you eventually turn spoilage into that anyway. Now, what do you need spoilage for? What do you need? You need spoilage for something. Oh, here, spoilage makes carbon. So we could actually start making carbon in biochambers as well. It takes a while for that. But that'd be a good one to have set up just to, because spoilage doesn't spoil. Again, bioflux is 2 hours. So once you process this, which gives you your Yumako is 1 hour, your jelly is 1 hour, you process those combined gives you 2 hours. Like, that's good. But you got to process that, because after 2 hours, everything's just going to turn to spoilage, which I guess that's just what you have to deal with. So that's where, it's good to turn it on to get a little bit of bioflux to maybe make a few more things. Like here, I need nutrients, I need pentapod eggs. Like, I need a lot more biochambers. I only have 26 less. That means another 3 of these, and that's all I have. And I have to make a lot more. But I can, use that. You can do a lot of that by hand. But any case, yeah, we have a lot to go. So these two process to make bioflux, and then you can start cranking this out, which we can make this right away because this doesn't spoil. Plastic doesn't spoil, so you can really start just, like, once you set up your bioflux, start running these machines. Even just have one. Wow, that's just 2-second craft time. But have 1 or 2, and then what you could do is you could module them like crazy. Then you could just turn this into lubricant while we're waiting. Fill up a whole tank of lubricant, because why not? Here, you can make rocket fuel while you're waiting, because rocket fuel does not go bad. Well, water's every, yeah. So we're gonna set all this stuff up. I do need to make some. I need a lot more biochambers. You need like hundreds of them. So yeah, we have. Once you make this, we have 5 other things to set up, 6 things. We have a lot of things to set up. So I'm gonna go ahead and do all that, and then what we'll do to wrap up this episode is I'll come back when all that stuff is done in a sense, and we can get ready to turn it on. So we'll come right back in a second here.